Hello learners, today we will be discussing the character and personality of BEDS 001. This is the last week for your BEDS 001 overview and perspectives of values, and this particular section will consist of part 1, 2 and 3. Today I will be dealing with the first part, which is character and personality. Most of us use the terms character and personality in common parlance when we want to communicate about a person's behavior, their strengths and weakness. But we use these terms with sufficient degree of vagueness without probably understanding the real connotations of these in the wider context. Let me give you an example to understand what character and personality is. When we see a person like Amitabh Bachchan who has this booming voice, you know that his personality is, you say that his personality is good because he has this wonderful voice, a booming voice, a voice with deep baritone. So we say that Amitabh Bachchan has a great personality because this is the way he talks. When you see a person who has this commanding presence, let's say you are in an interview board, or you have gone for a meeting, then you see the vice chancellor of our university who comes in, and you know that and you see that the vice chancellor comes inside the board meeting with a commanding presence, with such confidence. You say that the vice chancellor has a great personality because he works very confidently. There is the commanding presence of the vice chancellor in a particular meeting. So this is what is called personality, the way you walk, the way you address people, the way you talk, or the way you communicate. On the other hand, when we talk about character, character talks about the moral aspects of a person's life. For example, we say that this particular person is honest, we say that this particular person is helpful, this particular person empathizes with other feelings. So this is determining the character of a person. Character refers to socially relevant behavior trends that have particular moral and ethical implications. When we are concerned with behaviors commonly labeled as good or bad, desirable or undesirable, and when activities are considered with reference to their ethical or moral implications, we speak of character rather than of personality. So when we say that you have to be honest, you should be punctual in time, this is talking about a person's character. These are socially relevant behavior because these are characters, these are behaviors which are accepted by society, which are desirable by the society. And what are people who have bad characters, who are dishonest, who steal, who harm others, who beat up others? So these are characters, traits which are undesirable because they are not socially relevant behavior. So these are character traits which defines a person. Traits like lying, cheating, stealing, not keeping one's promises are dominantly negative character traits. On the other hand, traits like introversion, extroversion, neuroticism, intelligence, perseverance, self-esteem, friendliness, hostility, judgment are personality traits. So learners, you have to be very, very careful in knowing or demarcating the difference between what is character and what is personality. What are character traits? What are personality traits? Your intelligence, your IQ level, the way you are, the way you behave, if you are friendly with people, if you have a good communication skill, or whether you keep to yourself, you are very shy, you do not talk to others, then these are your personal traits, personality traits. But on the other hand, if you are a person who cheats in exams, if you are a person who steals things, if you are a person who lies about things which you have not done, then these are what are called character traits, negative character traits. What are the requirements of character and personality? Character cannot include personality, but personality must include the capacities of character and not be limited by them. Let me repeat, this is a very important aspect. What are the requirements of character and personality? Character cannot include personality, but personality must include the capacities of character and not be limited by them. Character requires understanding, strength of will, perseverance and energy. What personality requires is pure and understanding, independent of a second person. For example, a person who is neurotic, who is high on neuroticism dimension, will be emotionally unstable, whereas a person low on the dimension will be emotionally stable. Person with high score on psychoticism will be tough-minded person, and a person low on this dimension will be tender-minded. So, when you say that a person has a particular neurotic behavior, then he or she is emotionally unstable, while a person who is psychotic, if you say this person is psychotic, there are certain behavioral traits where you find that, you know, he does things in a way which is not socially accepted behavior, and so on and so forth. So there are certain personality traits which are either defining a person because a person is neurotic, on the basis of being a neurotic person, or on the basis of being a psychotic person. What are the components of personality? There are various components of personality, and what are they? Number one, consistency. There is generally a recognizable order and regularity to behaviors. Essentially, people act in the same ways or similar ways in a variety of situations. Number two, psychological or physiological. Personality is a psychological construct, but research suggests that it is not influenced by biological processes and needs. So, let me briefly talk about these components of personality. When you say consistency is a component of personality, we are saying that people act in the same ways or similar ways in a variety of situations. That is, if you believe in speaking the truth, you are honest even in spite of different situations in different parts of the world, in different context, in different situations. This is called consistency. Then what is psychological and physiological? That is saying that personality is a psychological construct which says that personality is influenced by biological processes and needs. Then we have another components of personality, which is impact behaviors and actions. We say that personality does not just influence how we move and respond in our environment, but it also causes us to act in certain ways. So when we talk about a person behaving in a certain way, it is because the environment expects that particular person to behave in a certain way. The environment is conducive, or the environment is unfavorable, because of which a person behaves in a certain way. Then we have another component of personality, which is multiple expressions. Personality is displayed in more than just behavior. It can also be seen in our thoughts, feelings, close relationships, and other social interaction. So when we talk about a person's personality, when we talk about saying that a person have a strong personality or a person has a weak personality, we are talking about how that particular person interacts with the other person in terms of how he behaves, in terms of how, you know, how he acts in a certain way, how he expresses himself or herself. So this is what we mean by multiple expression, which is part of components of personality. Then after talking about components of personality, it is very important to talk about the classification of personality. How do we classify personality? William Herbert Sheldon talks about the personality types on the basis of bodily constitution. He talks about endomorphics, which means relatively prominent abdomen and fatty issues. Then we have what is called mesomorphic, which is muscular build and strong bones, athletic type. And we have what is called ectomorphic, relatively delicate and thin body build. So we have endomorphic, which has prominent abdomen and fatty issues. Then we have what is called mesomorphic, muscular build and strong bones. And we have what is called endomorphic, which is relatively delicate and thin body build. A typically endomorphic person, for example, is likely to be obese. On the other hand, a mesomorphic person would be square and muscular, and a person who is ectomorphic would be tall and thin. So describing people on the basis of their body features and associating them with the temperament is also called somatotypes. A typically sanguine person is one who has an excess of blood, the choleric, excess of bile. Then you have what is called the phlegmatic, excess of mucus, and the melancholic, which is excess of spleen. Interestingly, one can easily draw a parallel between the ancient Greek and ancient Indian classification, which describe the above mentioned four temperaments respectively as Rakta Pradhan, Pitta Pradhan, Kapha Pradhan, and Vayu Pradhan. So when you talk about personality on the basis of the body type, you have a sanguine person who has excessive blood, you have a choleric person who have excess of bile, then we have a phlegmatic person who has excess of mucus, and you have the melancholic who has excess of spleen. We have talked about the types of personality, we have talked about the components of personality. Now we will talk about what are the factors determining personality. There are very significant factors which determine personality. These factors are the environmental factors. What are the environmental factors which determines personality? Let me talk about these factors briefly. The first factor, like I said, is environmental factors. Environmental factors consist of our parents, sibling, norms of our family, our cultural values, neighbors, friends, teachers, and other groups which with whom we interact since our birth. The environment plays an eminent role in shaping our personality. Our culture and traditions develop the feeling of right and wrong behavior, and interaction with others develop the attitudes, values, norms, and perception amongst ourselves. So when we talk about our parents, when we talk about our home, we say that the first role model for children are their parents. If your parents teaches you what is morally right behavior, what are the right behavior and attitude to life, then you grow up to become a person who reflects what is socially relevant behavior in the society. So you have your parents who are very important. Then after your parents, after your home, then you have the school where the teachers are very important part of your growing up. They are also the one who enhances your personality. They are the ones who enhances your moral values. Then your friends also. You know, we say that choose your peers, choose your friends wisely, because it is your friends who influenced you to do what is right or wrong. Because your friends, a lot of people have friends who are for life. These are the friends whom you make when you start going to school. So it is very important to choose your friends, to make your friends, because they influence you to do what is right or wrong. Then we have another factor, which is the situational factors. What are situational factors, and why are they so important in impacting a person's personality? When we talk about situational factors, we are talking about different situations which provide individual with different experiences, due to which he or she exhibit different traits and characteristics. In this way, situational factors impact a personality in a significant way. Therefore, similar situation provide a platform to behave in a relatively consistent manner, though not always. For example, I am driving and I am struck in a traffic jam. I have to reach my office in time, but then I am racing against time. In a situation like this, my character, my traits, I will be exhibiting a trait where I may be calm and composed, or I may just have a very high temper. I may shout at others, I may blame others for the traffic jam, so on and so forth. Other person may also display certain certain different traits in a particular situation. He or she may be calm, whereas I may not be calm in this particular situation where both of us have been caught in a traffic jam. So different situation provide individuals with differential experiences. I may be able to comfort a person because I have gone through a very bad situation, like I have grieved, I have lost someone, so I may be able to comfort a person, provide calmness to a person who has just undergone a situation where he or she has lost a loved one. Then another factor is modeling. We develop our behavior and personality by imitating others. These others are termed as models, who serve as ideals for individuals who try to identify themselves with the model person. So it is very important how we behave in front of the children. For example, a child or children see their parents in a very good relationship. They see their parents in a very healthy relationship, helping each other out at home. Then the child or the children will grow up to respect the partners in life, their wives, their husbands in life. But if a child or the children see the parents always fighting, then the child or the children will see that, will think that this is will be an accepted behavior, and in future most of the time the child will grow up and perform this particular act, or will act out a behavior which he or she has, especially the boy would see that this behavior which he has seen at a young age is an accepted behavior, and he will act out in future. So it is very important to act how we behave in front of children or in front of others, because our behavior can be easily imitated by others. We have psychological factors which play a significant role in the functioning of human behavior and the development of personality. The thought process, perception, values, motives, interest, creativity, attitude, etc. contribute towards the personality development of individuals. And also, when we talk about the various components of personality, we have a very important thinker Einstein, who attempted to classify personality in terms of extroversion, introversion, neuroticism, psychoticism dimensions. For example, according to Einstein, a typically extrovert person will be someone who is highly sociable, would makes friend easily, is talkative, while on the other person, an extrovert person will be extremely low on all such traits. An introvert person will keep to himself or herself, will not be sociable, will not talk to others, will not be able to make friends easily. A person who is high on neuroticism will be emotionally unstable. A person who is low on neuroticism will be emotionally stable. A person who is high on psychoticism will be a tough-minded person, and a person who is low on the dimension of psychoticism will be tender minded. So these are the different personality traits, components of personality, which I have discussed in today's lecture. We have just touched upon week 12, which is character and personality, wherein this is the first part of this particular week. Thank you so much.